Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Trion Nemesis in multiplayer. Now, this car used to be the king of multiplayer when max pro'd, and it stayed that way for a long time. However, it has since been dethroned by the Vulcan, but I found it to still be a decent car, even not quite at max pro'd. So I'm at 1780, and my tuning is maxed on the upgrades, and in Pro Kits, I have 5151. Now, this car uses 60 forced induction V8s, I believe, so that is why it's not max pro'd. I'll do that when I can. Now, for the first race, I always pick short tracks one lap because it is a fast accelerating car and it has a better chance of Vulcan. So as you can see, it starts up quite fast here, faster than all these other cars, but since I did not manage to swerve around them all at the beginning because San Diego Harbor is kind of a difficult track to do that on, that Aventador SV, I believe, got ahead, and it is faster than this car. But San Diego Harbor is one of those tracks where there's lots of places to wreck on, and so that guy did as long as the guy behind me, and I'm not exactly sure why or what happened. So, the Trion Nemesis can handle and drift very well. I find it to be one of the most enjoyable cars in the game to drive because it has great efficiency, great acceleration, and great handling and drifting. Just its top speed isn't so great. It can reach a real top speed of around 300 miles per hour at this rank. So, yeah, that's not so great when there's a bunch of Vulcans and homages and stuff running around that are 15 to 20 miles per hour faster. But if you drive really well, and because this car is slightly more maneuverable than those two, you can still have a chance, especially if you're max pro. Now, I know a lot of people will not be able to max pro this car, and I probably won't myself anytime soon, for lack of the first induction V8 engines, as I showed you earlier. They're a pain to get. So if you make it around the turns better and don't wreck, you still have somewhat of a chance against those cars. So that Aventador SV who wrecked early in the first lap is now catching up to me again. As you can see, it's about 15 miles per hour faster, I believe, about the same as the Vulcan. However, due to my superior handling, acceleration, and drifting, and since San Diego Harbor is very heavily reliant on those traits of a car, I am managing to stay ahead of him and win. By the way, the Aventador is probably one of the best Max Pro multiplayer cars aside from the Vulcan. I don't have it, unfortunately. So that one was, in fact, a Max Pro'd one at a rank of 1810 and triple boosted. Also, I'm not going to be running extra tanks in these races, mainly because, well, this car really doesn't need them. It has great nitro efficiency, even with triple tapping, as you can see here. I mean, it's not like the best, but it's still pretty good. And it can drift really well around these corners. I just find it to be a more predictable car than, say, even the Vulcan. Aside from its low speed for its rank, its other stats are nearly perfect in my opinion. But due to the lower top speed, this Vulcan is now able to catch up and pass me, going probably 15 miles per hour faster like that Aventador did in the last race. And I believe that other car catching up behind me is a Corvette Grand Sport, which can go a full 22 miles per hour faster than this car at this rank. I guess you can see why Trion Nemesises aren't seen all that much in multiplayer anymore. They're just not fast enough to compete with these other cars. Yes, they have good other traits, but its speed is just lacking. So again, taking the safer left route, and that Corvette Grand Sport is now passing me. So the first lap still isn't quite done, and I'm already in third place. However, you'll see I'm not that far behind. It's not like they've just blown away. Even though I'm not as fast as them, I'm more maneuverable than them, and I can drift and handle better than both of the cars up there, I believe, the Vulcan and the Corvette Grand Sport. And yes, my Trion Nemesis is purple. Finally! The past few videos of mine, it seems to have been a trend that the cars I've been testing have not been able to be made purple. But thankfully, this car I can do that with. So you will notice coming up here that one of these cars wrecks. It is the Corvette Grand Sport, and I believe he hit that blue thing that sticks out back there, and now he's stuck on the slightly longer way. So you can see here that even though the Corvette Grand Sport is 22 miles per hour faster than this car at this rank, on a 2-lap map, even on a somewhat twisty track, even if they just wreck once, you can still get ahead of them. But of course, they will come back rather quickly because of the top speed, and I'm not sure what happened to the Vulcan. He just kind of slowed down, and I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. So, I beat that Vulcan and that Corvette Grand Sport somehow. I believe both of them had some kind of issue in that race, but still, that's pretty good. I gotta say, Patagonia, after learning it, is one of my favorite tracks for cars that can drift or handle very well. So I beat 2 Vulcans, an Aventador, and a Corvette Grand Sport. Not too bad for a defeated king. So now for another race involving a Grand Sport, and this time there's also another Trion Nemesis, and there is a Max Prode Homage. Now unlike this car, the Trion Nemesis, which probably only gains around 5 miles per hour I want to say from a tuning kit, the Homage gains a full 20 something miles per hour from its tuning kit. That Homage back there does not have a tuning kit. He only has a nitro starter. And yes, I know this because I am recording me talking after recording the video. Just in case it seems like to anyone I'm predicting the future, I'm not. So a Homage Max Prode without a tuning kit is actually slower than this car that I'm driving right now, which is rather interesting. So we're coming up to the end of the lap, and thanks to the Trion Nemesis's amazing handling, we're able to get through here no problem. The Homage's handling is even better than this car's, but it is so good that it's so sensitive, and the Homage is very difficult to control at Max Pro because of that. So we beat that Homage in Grand Sport and that lower ranked Nemesis. Most Nemesises you'll see will be 1750 or below, because it's hard to find all those forced induction V8s to upgrade it. So now for our second race on San Diego Harbor Reverse. It seems to be quite a popular track for high ranks like this. So right behind me now are 2 Vulcans, which again are the cars that have dethroned the Trion Nemesis at this rank. I didn't Max Pro my Vulcan because I like having more reliable first place finishes while going up less per race, because I'm not the kind of guy who likes to risk a whole lot. I'd rather go up slowly but reliably rather than maybe go up a lot of points in one race and then lose them all the next race because of a bad start and a knockdown at the beginning. You know, stuff like that just ruins your races if you are playing at this level. So I'm beating 1 Vulcan because he wrecked back there, but this one is just too fast and also a really skilled driver. You cannot really face a really skilled Vulcan driver in a Nemesis and come out ahead. And it's also quite uncommon for a Camaro to beat a Vulcan on San Diego Harbor Reverse. So now for a race on French Guiana against an Aston Martin 177, a Corvette Grand Sport, and a BMW Homage. And there is also a Vulcan in this race, I believe, as we will see in a little bit, because he's the one, again, that is quickly catching up behind me. Now, if someone ever comes up beside you and starts turning your car, drift the other direction like I just did, and that way you can drift out of it and possibly slow the other car down in the process. So as I have said in previous videos, I do not usually like French Guiana in multiplayer, but the Trion Nemesis handles so well and is so stable that I feel pretty confident playing in it. It never does anything unpredictable, this car. That's one really good thing about it. So here it's a good idea to jump to avoid the first crawler, but unfortunately my flat spin didn't exactly work all that well, and now those cars are right close behind me, and I have run out of nitro. This is a really bad position to be in, guys. Thankfully, though, this is only a 1-lap race, so those cars should not be able to catch up by the time I finish. And there we go, I've successfully maneuvered through French Guiana without wrecking once. That's an accomplishment. So I beat a Max Prode Vulcan, Corvette Grand Sport, and a 177. You really don't see 177s all that much in multiplayer. Now you will see just how much faster the MP425's acceleration is than this car. He's an unboosted one, yet he still manages to get up to speed quicker than I do. The Trion Nemesis used to be the acceleration king of the game, but as you can see, it's been replaced by the MP425. And believe it or not, the MP48 actually starts up faster than the MP425. Not by much, but possibly enough if you're in an MP48 to knock down an MP425 at the beginning of a race. So for anyone who might not be aware of it, the Trion Nemesis is currently the most expensive credit car in the game, costing 4 million credits to buy, another 3.5 million to max out, and another 2 million to pro. It has been confirmed to be the most expensive car in the game to buy, upgrade, and pro out. However, I've come up with a good plan for people who just want to buy this car. What you do, you farm 1 million each weekend for 4 weeks, and in less than a month, you'll have this car. That is exactly how I managed to get this, actually. It was about a year ago when I didn't even have the 675 LT Mastery 15 to farm with yet, so yeah. It took a bit longer than it could have with that race. So the Trion Nemesis, while not being king anymore in multiplayer by any means, is still quite good, and you could definitely reach Pro League with it, but I'd say not Champion League, because the Vulcans will just steal your rating points, and yeah, it's just not going to work, even if you're max pro'd most likely. However, the Trion Nemesis is still the best S-Class credit car in the game, so I'd say it's still worth it to farm up for, especially if you don't have the Vulcan. So guys, thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 videos, and I will see you later. Goodbye.